All right. It looks like I am back on and running. So I hope everyone is doing well. It's been a while since I've been on this live. But I am back on and running. So I hope everyone is doing well. It's been a while since I've been on this live. But I am. So I am happy to be back. I hope everyone is doing well. It's been a while since I've been on this. It's been a while. It's been a while, like I said. Welcome back to the Fighting Carrier. My name is Deshaun Bradley. I am your host. It's been a while since I've been on this. It's been a while, like I said. But I am your host once again. And I want to tell you, man, it's been a rough few months going on, especially as a Table 2 carrier. It's been rough out there, so I had to take a little hiatus from doing this in order to focus my efforts elsewhere, in order to get the bills caught up and things of that nature. Working hard in order to provide for my family. One of my children had to come back home because it's rough for him, but now he's doing well. He's got a better job now, and he'll be out pretty soon. Then my other daughter doing a college thing right now. She should be graduating here next quarter or two. She should be done taking CAD. So it's just been rough. Being a letter carrier here, especially when wages aren't keeping up. Things are taking place right now. Certainly hear a lot of talk about USPS's finances. And of course, we got our NALC election coming up between the CLC and Mike Cariff, and of course our so-called president right now, Renfroe, who again he's worthless as well. So, and I really have no bones in this fight, so to speak, between CLC or Mike Cariff. I think I had disagreements with both of them, with both sides, Cariff and the CLC. So I really, it's going to be the lesser of two, suppose. I know some of the mentality is with this whole election thing is anyone but Renfroe. And I get that. I understand that. Well, again, he's a Rolando flunky. Hasn't done anything. He's enjoying his six figures and his lavish lifestyle and parties and whatnot. Well, whereas the carriers are barely making it. If that, some aren't even making it. Some are still living in their car, showering at the union halls and things of that nature. So now I got a lot to talk about with that. Probably not today though. Or I might share some things later today. Who knows? But I just wanted to say I'm back. I'm going to try to be more consistent with this. Come up with a good time. Just my life is just busy between the kids, my religion, serving my congregation, taking care of my family. And of course, delivering the mail. I gotta come up with a consistent time to where I can at least live or at least record on a daily basis. But we'll see how that goes in the future. But like I say, I'm back, and it's just been hard. I think I want to start tonight talking about the what we hear in the news all the time, and it's always around this time when it comes to the contract negotiations, and especially with the NALC. It always occurs at a time in which we are trying to negotiate wages, better money and stuff. But it always comes out around this time that, hey, post office is broke. Post office, they ran out of money. They're broke and blah, blah, blah. We're going to cut delivery days. We're going to go down to 5 days. Or I read some clown suggest either 2 or 3 days. Even a postmaster general himself is talking about shutting down some post offices so that those offices won't do as well. So I'm going to get that article and pull it up momentarily about what he said with regard to that, his own words with that situation and whatnot. So Well, without further ado, let me go into this as well. What? I thought about it. Let me talk about the election first between the CLC and Mike Cariff, Corey Walton, his team, Henry running for president. Let me just share some of my thoughts with that. I know I haven't really been keeping up with the whole election thing. To be honest with you, like I said, I've been too busy, been caught up with other things in my life going on, personal things, dealing with family, health wise, things of that nature. So I really haven't been keeping track with it, but I do know that there are many people who support Mike Cariff. I know there are people who support the CLC. With that said, and so here are my thoughts. I've had some dealings with the CLC, and what I've observed and what I've heard from other people as well is that, like Renfroe and NALC, who at the time when they turned off all commenting on their devices and social media, you couldn't comment for a long time. And it's like they banned his members from having a voice, which is something that's unheard of. I've read on Facebook from people, you can look it up yourself. I'm not gonna name any names, but that they've had dealings with the CLC, and this is what I've observed from those comments. That they make a comment that the CLC doesn't agree with or whatever. It's petty stuff. So, but the CLC will cut off communications with them. They ban them from being on that, and that's something that I don't like. That's one thing. Also, too, I've had dealings with them as well too, to where I offered them a suggestion and an idea of things that we can do as a union in order to strengthen it, to make it stronger, perhaps to help us to get what we need to get done. And I was completely dismissed by Corey himself at the time. He sent a message, wouldn't work and whatnot. And it is. That's his opinion, which is fine. It is what it is and stuff. But when I see stuff like that being dismissive of members, not taking into consideration new thoughts, new ideas, it just lets me know that these guys they need a fresh set of eyes on matters. I think Mike and Corey and Henry, they've been too far removed from the field, so to speak. I think Corey he still carries whatnot. I haven't listened to a show in about a year and a half or so, or a year, because I just couldn't handle the cussing anymore. It's just too much. Every other word, F this, S that. I mean, this is not a cup of tea. He would tell himself that if we're his language is what it is. That's gonna be him. No, that's fine. Some people like it. Some people don't. I'm one who doesn't. I prefer to use a little more eloquent way of expressing oneself, in that manner and whatnot. But it is what it is. But like I said, I've listened to him for a long time, so I believe he still cares. I know he and Henry, they travel the United States using their own money and stuff. That's fine. It's because they want to campaign, do what they got to do. Appreciate that and stuff. But I think when I look at people like Mike, Corey, all these guys here in the CLC, Henry, and you offer them fresh ideas from outside in, I think you want to try to listen to that and say, okay, it may not work, but how can we use this idea in the future? I think people who've been away, been in these offices for a long time, their lenses are clouded because they only focus on what they know right here and there. I really do truly believe that the NALC and others, they need someone from the outside in, a person who hasn't been behind the scenes, who hasn't been what so much experience, so to speak, that these other guys have with step A, step B, all those things. I think a fresh lens is needed because what happens is if you've been in these circles for a number of years, you become attached to that. You look at these situations as this is the only thing that's going to take place. This is the only way we can do things. And so this is the way we've done things 10 years ago. We're going to continue things this way. And now that's just not a fresh take and whatnot. So, and I'm thinking personally, really running for president, not this cycle, but the next cycle around. And I'm going to start that campaign. Actually, starting now with that, or a little bit later after the next thing is gone. So after the next election cycle is gone. And I'm sorry, I'm talking to my kids right now. They snuck down here and I told them I'm going live and they're hard headed. But the kids to be kids. It is what it is. We gotta love them. They just don't listen, so they're about to get in trouble. They know better not to be down here in my studio where I'm recording. But that's fine. Kids to be kids. But anyway, as I was saying, I'm thinking about running for president. I'm actually going to start posting things on my fighting. The Fighting Carrier page I got on Facebook. The Fighting Carrier page right there. I'm going to start putting a campaign together on that page and just go from there and let people. And I know some people, they will say, well, we need to have a person that's experienced. No, you don't need to be. In order to qualify to be the president of the NLC is to be a member in good standing. And that's what I am. A member in good standing. I had the spirit of Terrence Powderly in the Knights of Labor. I did a thesis paper on him back in BGSU college. Very, very positive, very good, strong union leader. And what I liked about Terrence Powderly is he did something different from the other labor unions. He actually wanted to integrate. He actually brought in black union members at the time. At the time, when back in the day, those other unions, they didn't want to have black folks in there at all anyway. But I admire Terrence Powderly. I admire the older union leaders because they took the membership first. They took the members' thinking into consideration first in order to have better wages, better working conditions, things of that nature. And now we have a guy right now, Renfroe, who honestly, I want to say this, but he could really care less about the carriers. I don't care what he says with regard to that. He really could care less. He doesn't care. He has his little thing going on. It just is what it is with Renfroe, which I'm very anti-Renfroe. But yeah, like I said, I got some issues with the CLC. They always say the lines are coming. I don't know if that was. I don't know if they still say that or not. But I always say, well, it looks like the Cubs are coming. The Lion Cubs are coming because I don't see it. And I just don't see any specifics on their campaign. They say higher wages or whatever. They want to fight for wages. They want to fight X, Y, and Z. And maybe they got stuff on their website. I have to review it again and whatnot to see if they have anything new on there. But it's not really a major hiccup that I have with the CLC, but just that experience right there got the bad taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? With that. Now, with regard to Mike, I know a lot of people like Mike Cara. I don't know him, but I do remember he did an interview one time when I used to listen to Corey's show, the arbitration, whatever it's called. He did an interview with him one time, and he said some things on there that I just didn't see the fight in there. I didn't see the fight. He was just continuing to say things, corporate speak. I'll put it that way. I didn't see a fight in there. I just didn't see it. And honestly, I gotta tell you the way I view Mike Cara. I do kind of, in my gut, tells me, all right, this is how I feel. And I could be wrong, but I think Mike is there to split the vote. I think he's there to split the vote because we know the old heads, the ones who will sit back and say, well, hey, I had to work, 10 years or whatever to get to the top. Why should everybody else get to the top right away? He's going to represent the old heads are going to, the table one people are going to support Renfroe. I think the majority will support Renfroe because, what else can they do? They're going to be jealous of the table two carriers, the new cats coming in to work. They're jealous of them. They don't want the young ones to get anything else, and that's the problem with the union right there. Not one-minded at all. As a union person, we're supposed to be fighting for the next generation, our generation too, but also the next generation, the carriers. We should be fighting for everyone with regard to that. I don't care. I'm about 4 steps from the top pay, so I'm almost there. Yes, did it suck to wait this long to reach to the top? Yes. Did I lose an average 13, 14K per year based on 2 different tables? Yes. It sucks. But if we can fight for our new carriers, can reach the top in 6 years, 7 years versus 12 years, if our top pay is 6 figures, there's no reason why we shouldn't be 6 figures like that in top pay and 7 years. There's no reason for that, especially with the cost of living, inflation. We're government workers anyway. Don't give me that excuse to run out of money because I'm going to get into this in a minute. Don't give me that excuse to run out of money because there's so much waste, fraud, and abuse within the post office where they really need a independent audit. We need to demand that. And I know as president, I would do that. When I run for president, I will have an independent audit. Not just the USPS, but also NALC. What are they doing with the funds, with the money? Another thing I would do too is I will try to build a stronger union with that, but also I will also make it easier for ones who say, "Hey, the union failed me. I want to get out." So I'll make it easier for those to do that too as well. A little bit easier because I know the NALC they want their money, but then they make it difficult. But if the union was doing what they're supposed to do, then they should make it easier for ones to get out. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, then the people are going to stay. More people are going to come in if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, well, people want to leave and stuff. But I digress. But going back to what I was saying about Mike Cariff, I just think he's there. He's been in these positions, higher positions, apart from carrying for a number of years. He's been to the meetings there with Renfroe and all of them, and I just think he's a corporate guy, and I think he's there to split the vote. Now, those of you who know Mike Cariff, I mean, you may get mad at me for saying that, but this is just my opinion. This is how I view things, But I just view he's just there to split the vote. So I know that again, the old heads they're gonna vote for Renfroe. Table one people for the most part. I think the old heads, he's probably going to get, let's just say he's probably going to get half of them. So he's going to get about 50% of those votes. Okay. So that means the other 50% is going to be split up between the CLC and Mike. And I just know, and my gut tells me Renfroe's going to win again because we're splitting the vote. We're dividing the vote up. As far as president is concerned. So I think Henry and Mike are going to, split the vote. So I really think it should just be 1-on-1, 1v1, but we'll see how things go. I could be completely wrong, but that's my opinion. Like I said, it's no hard feelings against Mike or Henry or CLC, none of that. It's just that my personal view, my personal opinion with regard to that election. As I said, I'm going to put together my platform for the future. I can tell you what things I'm going to do. I would like to do. I'm going to incorporate the teachings of the Knights of Labor with that, make a very strong union. I'm also going to try to work with all 3 union leaders, APWU, as well as the rural carrier union. I'm just trying to work together. We build a packet together for the most part of wages, and we're going to stick to this number. We're gonna come together and negotiate a specific number, percentage wise, of increase that we want across all unions. And we stick to that. We stick to that. Starting pay wages will be a certain percentage, and then negotiated rates. It won't be none of this 1.3% nonsense that we get. 1.1%, 1.2%. It won't be none of that stuff. No. We're talking. I'm going there negotiating 5, 6%, 7%. I'm going to what I can maximize the situation. And I will tell you specifically, as the union leader, I'm gonna tell you exactly what we're fighting for. I'm gonna tell you the percentages, the numbers. I'm not gonna be vague, and I don't care if their negotiators hear anything. I'm not afraid of management. It's funny talking about that, being afraid of management. If you're ever on Facebook and look at these other postal groups, man, the amount of people who are afraid of supervisors and postmasters and everything else. And I know there's postmasters on these sites too, supervisors. Man, please, I tell them to their face, man, I ain't scared of y'all. And what are you gonna do? You want to fire me? You're not gonna fire me. Because I know the M39, M41, the JCAM. What you're not gonna do is talk to me any kind of way. That's what you're not gonna do. I had a guy with some argument with some overhead the other day, talking about, man, you deserve to get it written up, a letter of warning. I'd be like, what's that gonna do? I get it down to a discussion, the next day. And what are you gonna do? A letter of warning. What's that gonna do? Absolutely nothing. And then try to tell me, well, you're the problem with the post office. And I'm like, no. Check my record. I have 99% accuracy delivery rate. I don't misdeliver packages. I know my customers. Customers love me. No, try again. So what you're not going to do is come to the post office as a postmaster, supervisor, MPOM, or whoever, and disrespect me. That's what you're not going to do. And saying that's how we're going with those negotiations. I don't care if you're the postmaster general. I don't care who you are. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. Vice President, I don't care who you are. I don't care how you feel your presence is. It's two men talking. And what you're not going to do is try to railroad me and my people. See, that's the thing. I love my job as a carrier. I love doing what I'm doing. I love my people. I love the job. I really do. I care about my customers, my people, and doing the right thing out there. More than that, I care about my carriers. I'm always teaching my carriers, because I'm also a mentor in the post office. I'm also a mentor, so I'm constantly talking to my carriers and say, hey, this is what you can do, this is what you can say. I tell you, don't rush for these people. Okay, you go at the pace of safe. I don't care what they say. I don't care what DOA says. I don't care what any of their tools say. You go at the pace of safe. I want to try to get you to go faster. They want to try to give you double speech as far as, well, to get you to move faster. No, I talk to my carriers all the time, because I really love the carriers. I really do. I love my people. I love the postal blues. I love that we do what we're doing. So that's one of the things I would say. Another thing, I will definitely not endorse any political candidate, any political side. None of my business. We are the post office. We deliver mail to everyone, regardless of their political affiliation. Regardless, we deliver to everyone. If you got a box, you don't have a PO box, we deliver it. We don't care if you have a Dem sign, Republican sign. It does not matter. I will take us out of politics. I will just keep it like that. I will not go endorse any candidate. Yes, I know we have to get involved with the political things. I get it, because there's things, but you want to do that on your own, then that'd be a separate division. But NALC as a whole will not endorse a candidate at all. That's big. I mean, I don't do politics, so don't get me started with that, because Why cause further divisions? As the postal union, NALC, we want to be united. So united we stand, divided we fall. Well, the USPS does a good job of dividing us, people's personalities, especially when it comes to politics and things. That's a good way to divide the union. You don't want to do that. So we'll keep the politics out. Keep it separate. We won't endorse anyone as a whole. What else am I going to do? What else would I like to do as the president? Oh, I read the Constitution there, and nowhere does it say that the NALC office has to be in D.C. So what I would do is I would take the office NALC out of D.C. I would move that. I would try to work on ways to move it out of D.C. Because once you're in that swamp, once you're in that cesspool, you can't go swimming in that swamp without getting slimy yourself. D.C. is the home of so much corruption from politicians, from lobbyists, Chinese spies. Everything's down there. So no, I would move us from D.C., get us out of the cesspool, move the NALC over to flyover country, and or I would stay here in flyover country where I'm at in Nebraska. Stay here. We have virtual tools. We have Zoom tools. Don't need to be there the entire time. We can talk via Zoom, work across the country. Versus being there in that cesspool. But at least change the NALC headquarters to a more centralized place, somewhere in flyover country. When I say flyover country, that's the farmland, the Midwest, things like that. Just to get away from that cesspool there. And who knows? It's probably costing a fortune to maintain the building over there in DC. So definitely move that. And we got planes. If I need to be in DC right away, I can book a ticket, pay for it out of my pocket, book a ticket, and go. It's not like it's that deep. And if I need to get to DC, if we keep it in DC, if I gotta be out there, I go out there once a week. I go out there. I leave on like a Saturday or Sunday night, get there Monday, do what I gotta do, leave Wednesday, go back home to the flyover country or something. I don't need to be there all day, in my opinion, with regard to that as well. One of the things I was thinking about doing too, I would really like, as the NALC, to have universal talking points. We fight, especially if it's a nationwide grievance, because we know the same thing happens over and over again. Stationary events, spying on carriers, doors this, doors that, the mistreatment of carriers. And what I want to do is I want to come together with a standardized version, a universal fighting list, to where whether you're in Ohio, to Indiana, Illinois, New York, regardless of where you're at, we have the same fighting talking point specifically, because we know the USPS, their management, they're united as one. They come down as one on us. They have the same talking points from here to all the offices that we deliver from. So if they can be united, why aren't the NALC united? And there's some things too with the NALC that I question why they aren't fighting. For instance, I've got my route here in town, and it's been due for a route adjustment ever since I took over this route. The last adjustment was done in 2018, and my route is about 30-40 minutes over on a daily basis. Yet, the union only seems to fight what the post office puts out, the 271G, to where they tell us where it says you have to have a 39.96 over 30 minutes over, what is it, 3 times over a 6 week period, something like that. Okay, that's fine. That's fair enough. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. But 271G, when you look at when carriers request a special route count, G is what, number 7, 8 on the list down there? There are other things on that list that we should be fighting for with regard to route adjustments. And one of those is, it's in there somewhere. It's either like B or C or something like that on that list. You can look it up on the M39. But it says here that a special route account should be given if a carrier requests it and it's warranted. Okay. Well, I would say if a route hasn't been adjusted since 2018 and it's now 2026, I would think it's an adjustment is warranted. But yet the union does not want to fight these things. They only want to fight what they think or they know they can win. Okay, that's all they want to do. What I want to do, I want to change that mindset in the LC. I want us to treat representation, but as you being a steward, I want you to be a lawyer. Have that mentality to think logically, to read the manuals that are presented, and come up with a argument. And we're going to put together schools, and these schools will be in person. They'll be virtual. I don't even care if postal management sees what we're doing. It's not going to matter. It's not even going to matter. Because it's going to be because they're lawyers too for their side. They're individual lawyers for their side, trying to fight. But anyway, we're going to put together different schools to help carriers, to help those who become stewards, to treat this as being a lawyer, as a defense attorney, and to be able to go through logically, line by line, of written contracts, written manuals, and say, okay, what does this say? Okay, how can I use this sentence to help my carrier? What illustration can I use in order to help arbitrators or whoever understand the point that we're trying to make? How can we use the language that's written in our favor? Treat it like a lawyer, and come up and try to reason into your head. Okay, if I come up with this way, what is management going to say? How are they going to rebuff what I say? So, really going to change that. How we do that. Also, I want to change the Carrier Academy, how it's done. I want to make the Carrier Academy perhaps even longer. Actually, I want to get back to the testing. Okay, right now, post office just hires whomever, and you've seen it. What happens when they hire whomever? Sorry, I love my carriers. I gotta teach them and train them. Love my carriers, but what happens all the time when we come back from vacation or day off? Your vacant houses have mail in it. You have a bunch of missed deliveries. Even though you have a trail card or something written down, what happens? You come back. Why? Because our carriers, they go too fast. A lot of them do. And trust me, when we first started, we all did that. They go too fast, and they're very careless out there. And you would think that with many carriers, especially if they carried your route before you got there, they carried it. They're not on it daily, but if they've carried it for a year or two, at that point in time, they should know the names of people. I know when I carry other people's routes as an OTDL carrier, I would carry their route, get a different part of their route, or sometimes get the same part over and over again. Well, after a while, you start to memorize names. You start to, okay, this person lives here. Okay, you just don't deliver everything. So I want to increase the standard of carriers, because I want carriers who are going to take the time to memorize the names on the route. Who's going to take pride in working for the post office. And part of the the academy I want to incorporate stretching exercises, doing some physical things. So I be able to set up a mock delivery circumstances with a satchel on your shoulder if you're a city carrier, and inside that bag you have some kind of weighted box or something, not too heavy, but as you're walking delivering, you take one piece out, another piece out, just to get you used to walking again, and then the driving, of course, delivering with the mail, driving. And I want the driving to be more than just, a 1 day thing. I want you to be able to practice with the equipment, with the vehicles, putting mail in and out of a box, using your turn signals to as you approach a box and as you're leaving. So start getting used to doing that. Start getting used to putting your vehicle, especially LV vehicle, whatever, putting it into neutral on the flat surface if you're on a route, or parking it if you're uphill or downhill. So start learning to do that. Just start learning those things. And every morning, first thing you do, you come in right away. Have mock stations. I know we do this now. Have mock stations where you begin casing. Just getting used to how to case. Spend your time there on doing that. Things that I just want to increase the standard that we can. And as far as uniform prices are concerned, we know that the uniform companies only utilize or are bought up by maybe two companies, perhaps something like that, own them all. Thus, the prices of things have increased. So one of the things I would do, try to negotiate with the USPS, is the shoe thing. I would say, usually if we're able to use the postal card to buy black slip resistant hiking shoes or whatever, and use that as Shoe Carnival. Be to use it anywhere shoes are sold. We don't no longer need that postal green tag, because those postal green tag shoes will always last me a good 2 months. And after that, I've had better success with shoes I bought from Amazon than the postal shoes themselves. I mean, I got a pair of postal shoes just in case something happens. I'm on the route and you gotta change them real quick. And if that little accident happens, but you have a little slippage. But fortunately, I haven't slipped in a long time because I do a minor route now. But just something, open it up, open the uniform up to other companies, other bidders. I know they want to do made in USA stuff. I get it. However, when you have only a monopoly on it, you gotta break that monopoly. You gotta bust it up. So what I would do, I would try to work with companies, reach out to companies, LL Bean Company or somebody else out there to say, hey, would you be interested? I put together a campaign with that. Perhaps there's a small local company somewhere that you may know, or you yourself as a carrier may be wanting to do. Say, hey, I can manufacture these clothes, put the logo on it, get them, whatever, and offer them at a comparative, reasonable rate. Because it makes no sense that a pair of pants, $88, $90. What? A parka, the coat, $300 some. That's your whole allowance. Rain gear. You're gonna buy one rain gear at a time. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to me. So I mean, there are ways to bust up. Find a different American company that's willing to manufacture clothes. Open it up again. Have some more competition. Once you have that competition there, and then we do that. And I work with USPS. I say, hey, USPS, let's use our connections. Let's reach out to different companies that are willing to make postal gear at a reasonable rate that we can use our cards on. American companies, whatever. Let's do that because there's a monopoly. There's ways to do it. And then those shoes things, let's open it up. You can buy a slip resistant black shoes, wherever shoes are sold. Use the card. And I guarantee do that. Those shoe prices, those $220 shoes are coming down to $80. I guarantee that's gonna happen. So, there are ways in which you can do it, but you got to think outside the box with that. So, I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. That's not where I want to go with it tonight. Running for president, as well as my thoughts on CLC and Mike here. Let me get down to what I want to talk about, the nitty gritty. You know what's interesting? I look at the news cycle, and you hear a lot of talk about post offices going broke, losing money, things of that nature. They have these experts on the shows and whatnot. But you notice who they never have on the shows like that? Whom they never interview? I mean, they will interview politicians. They'll interview business people that's outside the scope of the post office, never worked in the post office, whatever. But you know who they never interview? They never interview us, the face of the post office. Never interview us, never interview clerks. They never interviewed the people that are actually doing the work, who's doing the back end of the work. The front end, not the back end, the front end. Again, we're the face of the post office. I've never seen them interview a carrier. Say, hey, what's it like inside the post office? What's really going on with the finances? Do you know? Well, yeah, I know. They got a lot of management there. Cause some of that management now you've got management who can't manage the office because they got to call an impoom and say, hey, can I do this? Can I do X, Y, and Z? Why are you having impooms? It's too much of a layer of management, from the floor supervisor to the postmaster. Then you got an impoom. It's just too many layers. Cut out some of that managerial layers right there. That's one thing you can do in and of itself. Two, allow the post office to charge competitive rates. Help them do that. They keep up with I think I saw an article with FedEx and UPS. So that's going to be happening pretty soon. Stamps and things of that nature. But the biggest thing though is we got to let the community know that we are the USPS, Postal Service. We are not a business. We are not meant to make a profit at all. We are meant to serve the American people. We're meant to serve our communities. This is, we're doing what we're supposed to do. If there's a mailbox there, it doesn't matter. We deliver it. So we go way out to rural areas. It doesn't matter. We don't have the luxury to pick and choose where to deliver. And so that message needs to be spread out there, because people just think, oh, well, this is going on money, on business, no money. They don't know what they're doing. And I will agree that there does need to be an audit, an independent audit of the United States Postal Service, their funds. So we know there's some mismanagement there going on. You know it. I know it. And we can feel it. And then also, too, we can change our structure a little bit. Can we begin to deliver alcohol? Why not? DoorDash allows you to do so. You get the check. You got to scan the ID when you deliver it. So why can't we do that? If this means that we have to start hiring, we don't hire 21-year-olds here in the United States to deliver mail, so be it. If we have to move the age to 21 before they come in, it is what it is, so they can legally touch the alcohol or whatever. That's fine. Those who are 18 currently, when they hire the post office, but we're waiting until everyone reaches that age of 21. We're bringing in any new people unless they are 21, and we're going to start with setting new policy. Allow us to deliver that stuff. Of course, with checks and balances there. It should be an easier way too for us to report waste, fraud, and abuse within the post office, especially if you witness it. We've seen articles about postmasters here, money order schemes, just stealing thousands with regard to that as well. And then we saw too the millions of dollars they spent and just in the grievance process, because USPS can't file the contract. So if they begin to file the contract, then they will save some money there. with regard to there's a lot of money that's out there that that can be saved. But I want to share this particular article here, and it's just relatable to the United States Postal Service about the waste and fraud and abuse. But I want to share this article here. Let me get this up for you guys here. Let me see here. Display capture. Okay. See if we got it up there. Maybe not. Put it up there. Let's see here. I wonder if let's see here. I don't know if it's up there or not. It's probably not up there because I'm not seeing it on my screen here. Hold on. Let's see here. I want that on. I had it working earlier today. Display capture should be on. Preview scene, program scene. Let's see here. Video capture device. I might have turned my video off. Let's see here. Let me see something here. Hold on. Display capture. Actually, should be on right now. Well, if it's not on, like I said, I gotta play this some more again. I gotta get better at the streaming stuff. 46 years old. I do know some of this stuff, but this new streaming stuff. I grew up on this internet and stuff, but anyway, let me just read this article. If you can see it, fine. If not, I'll play with it some more. But this is an article from Federal Manager's Daily Report, Fed Week. $1,200 for breakfast for 7 as the IG questions some postal governors' meetings expenses. Did you hear that? $1,200 for breakfast for 7 people. Now, I have a family of 6, okay? And we go to Bob Evans to eat when I'm out east, when I head back home to Ohio. I have never spent more than $100 for breakfast for my family of 6. So how are they spending $1,200? This is postal governors meetings, okay? Just for a meeting, 7 people, $1,200 for a breakfast of 7. What type of sense is that? How much sense does that make with regard to that? Here it is. Let's take a look at that. See if you guys can see it now. Yeah, we can play with it over here a little bit. Yep. Let's see here. Let me make an adjustment over here. Hold on. Let me make an adjustment over here. Let's make an adjustment. Yeah, like I said, I gotta get better at this, so I'm sorry. Hold on, everyone. Let's see here. All right. Let's put it right about here. Yeah. Let's see here. Put it right about here. How's that looking? Wait, you can see the article right there. $1,200 for breakfast for 7, as the IG questions this report. So I was wondering when I read this, $1,200. Are they eating eggs from the goose that lays the golden eggs? What is going on here? So it says here. It says here. Yeah, it says like here. Additionally, we identified 7 catered breakfasts out of 21 meeting expenses for meals ranging between $900 and $1,200. What? It says here. It says cost of the operating the Postal Service Board of Governors more than doubled in 2025 versus 2024, but some 428,000 to 932,000. Wow, wow. But spending on professional and other services increasing by $550,000. Now, someone that says was a reduction in salary, but due to vacancies on the board, but still, that is a lot of money right there. And this is just part. And this is postal. This is just the postal. What is it? Postal Board of Governors. So imagine if we had an audit of all the postal funds out there. Could you imagine that? A USPS audit, independent audit. Well, how much money are they spending on hotels, breakfast, on lavish lifestyle living? It's no wonder why these guys get there and stay with regard to that. It's no wonder. Take that off now. We'll turn that display off. Thank you. Get my face back on here. All right. It's no wonder why. There's another article I wanted to bring up too. I want to get back into what our Postmaster General had to say with regard to the post office here. Let me get back to this article here. Sorry, just got a lot of things to pull up. So let's see if I can find this. Oh, where are you at? It was a lot easier to find it on my phone. Let's see here. Give me a second, please. Give me a second. Give me a second here. As I look for this. As I look for this article here. And I might not be able to find it over here on this website. On the, what side is this? Postal Times website. Because they may be on the page 2 here, and I don't see it here. So view more. Okay, let's see if I can go down here to view more news. Or maybe prosecute more. This is what I want to see if you want to mention. Okay, should be page 2. Yeah, here it is. U.S. Postmaster General, this clown, floats ending 6 days a week a mail delivery, closing most local post offices. I want to see what it says here. Here's what he said himself. He's singling out the post office. Let me pull this up too. So I got it up here now. Let's pull this up here too. Here we go. There we go. This is the article here. U.S. Postmaster General floats ending 6 days a week mail delivery. And he notes here, it says revenues and savings cannot offset the costs associated with the universal service obligation. The current model is business model is on. See, that's wrong right there. We're not a business. See, this is why they need the Postmaster General should be someone who's carried the mail, who's worked their way up, or has been in the post office, not in management, but they've been in perhaps a different area of the post office. They really need someone to be Postmaster General who can say, Congress, we are a service. We're not a business. We're not designed to make a profit. We can't make a profit. We're not designed to. We're required to deliver mail to everyone regardless of where they're at. So, this clown, Steiner, just another billionaire sitting there, thinks he knows everything and doesn't really know anything. And so, there's a couple things I want to share, and it's always funny. Pop back on the screen. It's always funny with these guys. They never ask the carriers. Yeah, I've never seen a carrier interview about postal finances, what's going on, how are things going. No, we're never interviewed, never asked. So, I just find it funny. But anyway, I'm going to end it right now. It's good to be back. I'm gonna try to get better and better each week, more and more practice. Maybe have my kids help me with this, as far as the display capture and things. Or I just keep practicing, do some Googling or whatever. I figure this out to get better. But hey, I'm back. I'm going to be back. I'm not going to stop. We try to get this thing built up. I'm also doing another channel too. I'm about to set up as well, and it's going to be focused on just basic news throughout the earth, throughout the world, throughout the United States, whatever. So I'm setting up a whole new news network as well. It's gonna be catered to a certain audience, but I'll let you know more about that later. But anyone will be welcome to listen to it. It's really going to be focused to everybody, but a certain segment is going to like it more so than others. But that's all I got for everybody. Like I said, it's good to be back. I'm trying to come up with a good schedule so we can do this thing all the time. But hey, love y'all as carriers. Keep up the good work. Wear the postal blues. Work at the pace of safe. Don't be running for these people. All right. This is Deshaun Bradley, the fighting carrier,